What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. I'm Andrew. This is Aggie. We're here at Nexus Jiu-Jitsu in Folsom. And today we're going to talk about passing the half guard and employing the use of our free leg. I talk about it a lot in my classes. I haven't talked about it too much in my videos over time, but it's something that I'm really adamant about with my students here. And it kind of goes towards any thought process you have in jiu-jitsu and in grappling. You're always employing all of your limbs towards the goal, right? Hands and feet work independently towards the same goal. And you can really think about it when you're in situations like arm bars, right? If my left arm was in an arm bar, what are the odds that I'm not using my right arm to defend? Like almost zero, right? I'm going to be here protecting, holding on to my left arm so I don't get arm barred. So I'm employing the use of my free arm, right? Same thing with the legs. If someone has my right leg in a leg lock, the likelihood that I don't use my left leg to defend is almost zero. And my hands. I'm going to be using all my free limbs to help me in my cause. Well, with passing, I don't know why that thought process is just thrown out the window, but it's so common. I see people get caught in the half guard and they're just trying to rip their leg out, pull their leg out, posture up, pike up, get their hips up, try to knee cut, try to free their knee, and they almost never use the free leg. So today I want to show you guys how we can use that free leg in a few different scenarios and talk about some very uncommon, unconventional passing sequences. I learned them as the Skydiver pass. I don't think I've showed anything about that on my videos yet, but it's something I use a lot. And there's two variations we're going to look at: perfect world and a scenario where they get the underhook from bottom, and how we can mitigate that scenario. So let's check it out. All right, so we're here in the half guard, right? Right now she has my right leg in her half guard, which means her right leg is generally monitoring my right leg. Like her right leg is around my right leg. And their left leg can do a lot of different things. It has a lot of different functions and purposes and things it can do. It can go into butterfly hooks, it can go into lockdowns, it can go into figure fours on my leg, it can go into spider guards and lasso guards and all sorts of nonsense, right? So when it comes to this scenario, I have a free leg here, and what you'll see so often is people are piking up or they're trying to knee cut and they don't use this leg very commonly. Every now and then you do see things like this, right? Shoelace method options, which are very, very good. And I use them all the time, especially against somebody who's doing half guard butterfly. I'm gonna put in my own little butterfly hook, right? But I just see so rarely people using this free leg. So let's look at some options for that. First thing I want you guys to understand, when I'm going to the half guard battle, I need to create a scenario where I'm dominating this situation. When it comes to half guard, the person on bottom wants to have the ability to push and pull. If I get past their knee line, they only have the ability to pull. And that's a scenario that I want to create. If she can keep this knee between us with a high knee shield, a low knee shield, a butterfly hook, whatever the scenario, she has a pushing mechanism where she can push me away using the strength of her legs and hips. And that's going to be a situation I can't really tolerate, because if she can push me and pull me with her legs, she's going to generally be able to win out the half guard battle unless I do something really cool, really special. Okay, so my goal is always to get past their knee line, and there's 100 ways to do that, and I'm not talking about that this video very much, but I just want you guys to understand how important that is. So I'm working myself past that knee line to get into more of a close quarters, chest to chest style pinning position. Once I get that scenario, I'm going to find that far underhook. And honestly, for this particular Skydiver pass, I don't really need the underhook, and I'll show why in a second. But what I want to focus on is pinning this bottom leg and hip and pinning this bottom side shoulder, the same side shoulder. So if it's her right leg and hip I'm going to be pinning, it's her right shoulder and arm that I want to pin, right? And again, I can do it with or without the underhook. I'm going to show it with the underhook and then kind of talk about how it works. So we're here in the half guard battle. I've beaten the pushing mechanisms. I'm working inside position, trying to get chest to chest. I get my underhook and I find this chest to chest position. I'm using this knee here against her hip in like a fundamental starting position so she can't pummel her right knee back inside. I can't tolerate a situation where this knee comes in here and starts pushing me away. That's too strong, okay? So I need to make sure, try to pull that knee in. I need to make sure I'm blocking it by bringing my knee to her hip, okay? Once I get this underhook position, what I'm gonna do now is sprawl my right hip out to press her thigh to the mat. So I go here and I sprawl her hip down, my hip down, really wide here. Now, I know I just pulled my knee away from her hip, what I was just talking to you guys about not doing, but because I'm laying with all my weight on her thigh, if she tries to pull that knee inside, it's almost useless. It doesn't help her, right? I'm very like pinned here on her thigh. And now I'm gonna look for this arm, right? I'm gonna pummel inside, find that elbow, and pull that to me. And once I get that, I lay on that arm. So now I'm laying on her arm, I'm laying on her leg with my hips, and I'm really pinning her. She's not in a good spot here. Because I'm controlling both her right shoulder and her right hip, she can't really turn either direction. And I want to show that here. I'll take the underhook out and go all the way here. And she can try to come up to my back all she wants. But because she can't pull her elbow back to build head height, and she can't pull her knee back to build hip height, she's just stuck here until I'm ready to move, right? So there's a lot of good options I can get into here. And this is where I want to start employing this leg, okay? So we're here. I've done my skydiver pass. See, it looks like I'm skydiving, right? Skydiver pass. And I'm going to bring my head a little high. And that gives me the ability to bring this foot to her knee here. See, I'm pressing my foot to the top of her knee so she won't be able to track me, right? So I bring this foot in, press it to the top of her knee, and now I can just walk off my right toes here. I walk, 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 till my knee passes her hip line. And now I can cut it straight across, find my mount, and I would stay very close and pinned. I just don't want the mic to get all jacked up. But once I get to mount here, I would stay super close. I have an underhook here, I can expose the elbow. I have an overhook here, I can expose that elbow. And I would go into my further motions from there, right? So let's look at it from the other angle. Okay, we're here in the half guard. Again, I want to beat the knee line so she doesn't have pushing mechanisms. So I'm using any number of ways to get past knee shields and half guard butterflies, low knee shields, high knee shields. I'm getting past lassos and spider guards and all that nonsense to get to a simple conventional half guard position. She's here facing me like normally people would. I look for my inside position, find that underhook, chest to chest, and now I'm going to sprawl my hip out, pressing my hip down on her thigh, really pinning her thigh to the mat. And now I find this far elbow, pulling it to me, okay? I want to get that arm to my chest, and then I lay on that arm, and I get into this skydiver position. It looks like I'm floating through the air, okay? And I'm really pinning her hip or her leg to the mat with my hip here. I bring my head high, like I walk up high and press the shoulder into her chin. You see that? So this is where I can get a little bit of meanness going. And I take my foot to her knee here. And now I start piking up, piking up, piking up, piking up. Knee across, finding my mount, keep this elbow exposed, and we can get to work with all of our mount attacks, right? Really good pass, employing the free leg, added in, very good attack. All right, so as good as that last attack was and is, that's perfect world. I beat the knee line, I get past her hands defense, I get inside position, I get chest to chest, I get the underhook, I'm able to flatten her out, blah, 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 right? As most of you know, that's not always the case. It's not never the case, but it's not always the case. sometimes the bottom person is able to get that underhook, right? And as we know, if I'm coming close and she gets that underhook, what her goal is to get her hips out a little bit, come up on her elbow, start building height, start creating a flank and getting around me. Now, of course, I can use whizzers, try to use whizzers. I can use certain attacks, maybe back steps into honey hole, etc. Which if she has my knee line, I don't have that option, right? Not in a good fashion at least, okay? So when I feel somebody get the underhook, I'm gonna beat their whole process. Instead of trying to fight from here and hoping that I have good defensive structure from here, because some people are very good when they're in this position. A lot of people are from her position. Instead of getting all the way here, I'm gonna beat her hips from the beginning, right? So let's come back. So I beat the knee line, okay? I'm starting to close distance. I wanna go into this chest-to-chest underhook scenario. As I'm getting in close, she gets the underhook. So right away, I know what direction she wants to go. You guys know what direction she wants to go. She wants to go to my right, to her left, get her hips out and build up onto her elbow. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I know she wants to go to my right, I'm gonna slam my hips to the right. Right? And I have this right hand posted way out. Okay, I'm gonna use again, it's still a version of a skydiver pass. So I'm still thinking wide with my arms, big skydiver motion. Okay? So she got the underhook. I'm gonna take my hips all the way to the right, pressing her leg down to the mat. Okay, we'll switch the angle in a second so you can see what's going on. But I'm laying on her thigh, pinning her left hip now to the mat. And I'm out wide with this arm. I'm just laying on her. She's wearing my weight. And now it's actually really hard because she's so flat for her to go either direction. And now I use my free leg to pummel it inside and start the process of my pass, okay? From a little different angle. So I want you guys to be able to see what my free leg does here, and then we'll switch sides so you can see what my hip is doing. So I'm coming in close, they get the underhook, and I drop my hip all the way out to the side, okay? And now it's gonna be hard for me to get my right leg out here just by using motion. So I'm gonna use this foot and take my heel right into the calf. Okay, I start at the calf because I want this to be uncomfortable. Right now her feet are connected, her feet are strong, her legs are strong. I want to convince her to separate. So I'm going to put this heel right in her calf and press it into the calf. And then I'm going to hook that leg. Yeah? And now I can use this to lift. Once I lift her leg, I can now retract this foot, bring my hips up, bring my knee over her knee, and we find really good mount positions here. All right, you're going to be able to see it better from the other side. I just wanted you to see what my free leg does in that sequence. Let's do another angle. Okay, so we're here. I'm going to close the distance. They get the underhook. So watch what I do here. I drop that hip all the way over, like I'm cheating my hip all the way through. I'm not square. I'm like dropping myself back, right? And now I'm looking to get this free foot heel in the calf, hooking. I'm looking to hook her leg, lifting it to keep the feet separated, and I go here. And now my knee goes over her knee. I find my mount. I have a good connection with my hips to stabilize for a second, and then I can get to work climbing up and looking for all my submissions. All right, so there you have it. A couple of unconventional passes from the half guard that I don't see often. I don't see them played too much. They do in my gym. There's quite a couple guys who really like them. They're referred to as the Skydiver passes. They're just really, really powerful. Once you get to the position you need to get to, pinning their bottom leg, pinning their arm, they're so stuck. And now you can take your time, you can breathe, you can think through your motions. For me, in my jiu-jitsu life, I'm older, I'm busted up, I've been doing this a long time. I can't do all the flippy, fast, jumpy, backflip, front roll, crazy nonsense that all these young 22-year-old college wrestler guys want to do. I have to slow those guys down. And this is the kind of sequence I get into when I need to slow them down. It's like, whoa, 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 slow down, buddy. Now let me progressively work my technique, right? If it comes to a technique battle, I think I'll win every time, personally. That's how I think. So I want to create a technique battle, not a scramble battle. And this is how I can do that. Now, if you're going into that chest-to-chest style position for the Skydiver pass and they get the underhook, unless you already have their leg and arm flat, you're gonna get flanked. So drop that hip to the far side, and now you're still creating a bottom leg for them, and you're pinning it, right? If they have a leg pinned on the mat, if you pin their hip and leg to the mat, they can't come up, right? For me to be able to come up, I have to pull this knee down and back, technical get-up style. If you pinned it, if you put a 400-pound weight here, I would never be able to go to my knees. And that's effectively what we're doing when we drop our hip and create a bottom leg for them and put all our hip pressure on it. And then from there, we are employing the free leg. Bring all of your limbs into the fight as often as you can, especially your legs. Especially your legs, you have to. I'm always using all of my limbs, but primarily my legs. These are the driving forces of all my motions. My hands guide. My legs, my feet, my shins, they are the driving force, right? So make sure you bring your free leg into the fight and start looking for ways to do that everywhere you can. Right? Yeah, so thanks for watching. Hope you got something out of it. If you want to see anything in the future, throw it down in the comments, like, subscribe, join the team. Again, I'm Andrew. This is Aggie. We're here at Nexus Jiu-Jitsu in Folsom, and try it out.